Okay, this is the first drive with the new Beta 9 FSD software. Just installed. Got that USB device malfunction error again, but oh well. So I repositioned the roof mount because I got a lot of feedback that people like the view. So I have it more forward on the roof. I think there's still going to be some reflections, but I'll play with that during the day. It's slowing down for the speed bumps. I have my Sony camera now fixed directly on the screen, and I have it balancing for the screen, so the colors, everything should look a lot better and a lot sharper. So right off the bat, the difference is the speedometer is a lot smaller, and the bar is finally centered between the icons now. That was always a problem for me. So again, it's blind over here. I wish it would just creep forward. Now, there's no cars. I mean, it's late at night, but it's 8 o'clock. But that was smooth, and it actually said tap to confirm. I think this message should go away. Anyway, so I think we'll see how the drive goes. I'm gonna head into Midtown, go around a couple roundabouts to see the differences of driving. Oh, the speed limit's fixed now. Oh wait, no it's not. So it was at 40 when I first turned on the street, then it dropped down to 30. Because it's actually at 30 here, so there's definitely an issue with the speed limit. Bug report, incorrect speed limit. You know, that's a hard one to report because it's not an autopilot function that's wrong. Otherwise, I tap that button. It's actually the speed limit. So when I first turn onto the street, it's coded as 40, but then the autopilot camera sees the correct speed limit, and then it drops to 30, which is what it should be. Wow, it's rendering a lot more. The crosswalks are rendering now, the lines. It seems like the visuals are recording a lot more. I'm curious to see if the colors of the lane lines are fixed, because that was a big issue for me going into downtown. It kept going yellow and white. So far, pretty smooth. Like, it's getting so much better for me. You know, the amount of interventions I'm having to do are a lot less for me. And, you know, I was intervening a lot to get this, you know, for all my issues to be recorded. And I'm intervening a lot less. I'm really happy with this last software release. So far, this one's been pretty good. So we'll see how it is once we start getting into the roundabouts and these wide lanes appear with the parking lanes. Oh, it detected that parked car. I felt the car slow down a little bit to react to that. Interesting. They were parked in a parking lane, so that wasn't like a big issue or anything. So here it always goes into the wrong lane. It goes into a parking lane around this curve. I have a feeling it's going to do it again because there's no parked cars. Yeah, it went into the parking lane again. So this is a parking lane. Now, during the day, it didn't do it because there was no cars. But you can see what's happening here. I'm intervening because it was actually detecting that wrong. It's okay, back on. It avoided that perfectly. A lot better. Yesterday when I did this drive, it gave me the warning like place your hands immediately or something like that, and did the loud beep. It even seems wider to me. Like the screen even is a lot larger and the map is super small now. So everyone's like saying, oh, my map's smaller. Look how small my map is. It's like, It's super small. I mean, if I pulled the radio up, it gets bigger. This is what everyone's seeing, but I mean, look at this. Like, it's all the way over here. So far, pretty uneventful, other than, going to that parking lane. But I had a feeling it would do that. It's even really hard to know. I mean, it's a perfectly width of a lane. There doesn't say anything about parking only. There's no signage, so that's just a really challenging thing in general. But when there's cars parked there, it never does it. Oh, look, white. Waiting for our turn. Worked perfect. There's cars behind. Stopping for traffic control. Tap to continue. I just tapped the accelerator just briefly. Oh, much better. See the speed? 20. So it actually brought us right up to speed. It didn't hard brake after the roundabout. Oh, that was impressive. The turns are so much better. You guys have no idea. Like, it used to be so jerky, and we used to like go back and forth inside the car so much. It's like night and day. Like, it's actually pretty comfortable for me to drive. That was interesting. Look at the visualization. Interesting. That one was a little bit slow. It detected, so at the very beginning, the car I felt go to the left. I wasn't sure what was happening, but it was detecting the parked car on the right, like jutting out. And I think that's why it did this. Look at the leaves. Everything's working great. It's not weaving. This is fantastic, you guys. Oh, look at that. Driving visualization temporarily degraded. This is exactly what I talked about earlier. And I lost autopilot. So the autopilot computer just crashed. This is what was happening on my last software update. I've never really seen that happen before until the last two updates. Stopping. Why did it just stop? It just stopped in the middle of the road. Okay, so now we're going to another roundabout. That was so close. Wasn't the smoothest roundabout. Strange. Didn't proceed. I might need to pull over and reboot the car. So, the mapping is showing this as a road. What the? There's something going on with the car. I'm gonna have to reboot it. Okay, we're back to life. GPS is actually off. So there is something impacting the car at the moment. GPS data is actually showing me off. So there's something wrong with GPS with this update. It's showing the road to the right. So it actually drove incorrectly. See how the car is like showing off the map now? So there's something going wrong. I just rebooted the car. We'll see if it impacts the drive. There's something's wrong here. Okay, so It was technically my turn. That car was hesitating and was going to let us go, but the car started to accelerate out. It didn't stop for that car. It didn't yield. So I intervened. I'm not sure what it was detecting there. So it was hesitating. I don't know if it was detecting some cars as moving, but all the objects were kind of jumping around a little bit, so that was really odd. So normally it'd be very busy in the evenings, but you know, with COVID and everything, everything's kind of like shut down early here. It's kind of like a ghost town at night. Usually there'd be a lot of traffic here. So checking visibility. Okay. That was the message I was talking about. That beeping noise. Oh, funny. That message is gone now, the USB malfunction, after a reboot. Weird. It does appear to be detecting all the colors correctly on this. Wow, it kept distance from that car that was parking as the car next to us was driving by. So this is so strange. You know, it looks like we're driving through a parking lane here, which we are, but in Sacramento, different times of day, you can drive in parking lanes and sometimes not. So that was one of those areas that you could drive at certain times of day. So I just realized I forgot to put in my lavalier mic. So I'm hoping the audio sounds good. I'm sorry, I totally forgot. I'm kind of tired. So now we're in downtown Sacramento. I think City Hall, Cesar Chavez Park. I love Sacramento. Great, initiated lane change. Great. It's so much smoother. Like, it's hard to convey that, but you know, as you can tell, my reactions they're not as intense as you guys have remembered, because it really was rough to be in this car with it being so jerky. It does make you feel kind of sick, but Beta 8, and so far this particular build is so much smoother for me. I mean, it's literally like a night and day comparison, honestly. I mean, I'm so much more relaxed being in the car, as you can tell. We're going to be turning into construction zone. Let's see how it handles all this. There's like big steel plates on the road here. visually it had no problem with it. Went right around it. Oh, interesting. Check this out. Left turn only. Construction. So it does not appear. This visualization showing blocking here. It definitely does not like. It does not look like it's designed to handle situations like this. So he's pointing to turn. So FSD is clearly not handling this, so I'm intervening and directing. So we just found a limitation. The FSD software is currently not recognizing temporary like turn signs like that. So it's not detecting it. I had to take over and ooh, there's a car here. Now we were safely not, oh, and I can't turn here either. So it, again, here's more temporary roadblocks here. FSD is still attempting to turn right here because that's where the navigation says we need to go, but it's all blocked, as you can see, and it's not rerouting us. So, you know, more limitations where the software is not recognizing these type of scenarios yet. So let me just report this, because this is just something that needs to be written in the code. It's currently not configured to do that. Okay, so back in FSD. I don't know if the roads are open over here, so you're finding out with me. Ooh. Oh man, that was a rough turn. It turned, but that was rough. Okay, another construction. It should push us left here because this is all closed. And it's not. What it was doing, it was attempting to drive into this area between the pylons. So, again, we have another road closure. And, oh man. Oh gosh. Oh, it just slammed the brakes. So another temporary road closure. The FSD is detecting the road closure, but it's still attempting to make the right-hand turn for the navigation. So still needs some work on, well, it needs to be programmed because it's clearly not programmed to detect temporary closures like this. So I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to go right here to do this. We might need to just skip this whole part of town because I think all the roads are closed over here. Okay, we're going to just FSD back this direction and then head into ESAC. It's pretty wild. There's so much construction happening in Sacramento. Man, these roads are so bad here. You know, you never realize it until you're in the car with FSD and you're realizing how bad it is here. Okay. Left-hand turn. Good. It was a little jerky, but it actually turned into the correct lane. So we should always go into number one lane when you're on turning onto one way like this. Now here again we have the right lane merge. I want to see if it's going to handle this. It is not. So intervening again. It's not handling this particular area for some reason. It's not detecting those merge arrows and moving like it should have. But the color of the lane lines here are staying white, which is excellent. This is what I've been complaining about for a long time. They keep flickering yellow, and the car keeps pushing me to the right all through here. And you can see it's staying white pretty much the whole way. And I have the camera perfectly focused just on the screen, so the colors, everything should be able to be detected now and picked up like it should be. Great. Yeah, it's staying white. Perfect. It's so in here, it used to always push me right because it keeps, it keeps turning yellow, and you can see it's staying all white now. So they've done something to pick up the algorithm to pick up the color better, which is fantastic. Okay, so let me just cancel navigation. Navigate to home. Way better. So up here, it kind of goes up a little bit of a hill in Midtown, and on that crest, it always wants to push right. So I want to see if it's going to fix that. Because actually, we're doing the same path that I did the other day with Mark. And that could be why, when I hit this crest up here, it just assumes, oh, I can't see, so it's yellow by default, but once it sees it, it flicks white. I bet that's exactly what's happening here. See how it's cresting? Let's see what it does. Oh, staying white. Good sign. Very good sign. Maybe they've changed the algorithm or the logic to say, okay, if it's white here, assume white further out instead of shorter distance. Maybe that's what's changed. Perfect. Look at that. Staying in the left. This is a big deal, okay? So in every release of the beta, I've always been pushed to the right-hand lane when I'm in this particular area. There's something about the way the lanes look. Oh, here it goes. There it goes again. Still needs work. Okay, snapshot. See that? It changed yellow again. And you can see the color of the lane line is white. It moved over again. So all of this is wrong. See what's happening? So then the car gets erratic because it keeps thinking we're crossing into oncoming lane. Now it's white. Weird. I'm just gonna keep snapshotting this because it's wrong. That turn was really slow, but it took it okay. It wasn't too jerky. It just was not very smooth. So I haven't seen an improvement on that turn yet. So it tried to just center in that lane there. The car kind of like went to the left to center. Didn't really care for that very much, but it's okay. Let's see how it handles this right-hand turn. This right-hand turn, it always wants to cut a little bit too close, so you can see the curb sticking out. Oh, perfect. The steering wheel adjusted and we cleared it. Perfect. Much better. That particular turn, it's always gotten so close every single time, and one time it was about to drive into it. This time, it actually corrected and stayed wide, which is perfect. Let's see what it's going to do here. It always kind of struggles here. My last video, it's jumping left here. Yep, that's what it's doing. It's detecting the parked car as non-drivable lane. Snapshot that. See, it's picking the left-hand lane. There's no car next to us, but it's gonna go to the left. I can already see it. Oh, look at that. It just changed. What's it gonna do? It's thinking these cars are... Okay, I'm gonna keep snapshotting this. So it's thinking these cars are in the lane, and it's having trouble detecting this lane line here. It was better, but it still needs some work. You know, it's so interesting. So my thoughts on the speedometer being smaller, I think they're just, you know, I think we're taking less focus from the speed, because it's actually going to become irrelevant once FSD is released, because what we're just going to be concerned with is making sure the car is going whatever the speed limit is supposed to be and being safe. So maybe that's why they're giving us more, you know, making this smaller to give more space for more data. Maybe there's going to be more data over on the right. So, I'm not sure what it's doing, but there was a parked car there, and there was a car behind us. That was just weird. It didn't handle that very well. I'm not going to let the FSD go, because, see this car here? They want to make a right-hand turn, and the car was trying to center and then block the lanes. So, I want that car to just go by us. I'll turn it back on. So again, I would like sticky lanes. I'm just going to call it that because I don't know what else to call it. But instead of trying to center between edge and here, it needs to just like stick to the lanes in the cities. It just needs to be like sticky. Like any lane line you're near, just like stick to it when you're in cities, because see how wide the roads are here? The car keeps trying to center. Now it's centering a lot more slowly than it used to. Let's see if it clears this. It did. It cleared it. This is the first time it made that right-hand turn without getting too close. So they adjusted the logic to stay further out from the curb now. Perfect. See how it's trying to center? It pretty aggressively centered between road edge and that center line. It just needs to stick to the left. Sacramento, so pretty over here. So a good test is upcoming. It drove perfectly down the street now. So it used to just turn, you know, like all, pretty much Beta 7 and before, it always turned left at all these streets. Now the Beta 8 and Beta 9 have been driving perfectly down the street. So now the good test is going to be, is it going to turn down 51st Street? Let's see what happens. So let's move over. Okay, it moved over. So it's cutting over the... It turned. Perfect. Wow. Okay, there was no cars, but it turned, so that's great. Okay, I'm just going to disengage FSD here, but final thoughts, it's driving so much better. I'm loving it, and you can see there is a lot of room for improvement, so they need to get temporary road sign detection working. It's clearly not, you know, with all those construction areas that was trying to turn into. It's not detecting that yet. There's still some issues with detecting the lane line colors, but besides that, I'm seeing major improvements. Have a good evening, everyone.